In a normal timeline, what you're getting ready to witness would have ended the nomination of someone seeking to be the Secretary of Defense. What you're getting ready to witness would not have been acceptable in a normal timeline. We are, after all, however, not in a normal timeline. We are in a Donald Trump presidency upcoming. In just a matter of days, he will be president of the United States once again. Commander-in-chief of the most powerful military on the planet, and he put an alleged abuser of women and alcohol to be in charge of the most powerful military on the planet. A white Christian nationalist with his radical extremist tattoos celebrating the Crusades. Someone who has screamed drunkenly, allegedly, in a bar, "Kill all Muslims." I guess that would include the Muslims who bravely, proudly, selflessly serve the United States in uniform in the military. Of all of the questioning that took place yesterday, I think the most important came from Elissa Slotkin. She is the senator for the state of Michigan. And she drilled down on a very important point. There was not enough talk about his white Christian nationalism, not enough at all, maybe none, in fact. However, this line of questioning got right to the heart of the matter that I think is most important, and that is, if Donald Trump orders you to do something unconstitutional, after all, you love to wave around your Constitution, Pete, you love to talk about your oath to support and defend this document against all enemies, foreign and domestic, you love to throw out your fake patriotism when really your loyalty is to Donald Trump. You're in the cult. So she asks him, would you carry out an illegal order, an unconstitutional order, to use the military against U.S. citizens? And shockingly, again, in another timeline, this would not have taken place. This would have been a disqualifier. He refuses to answer. I'm not going to answer hypotheticals. What? You don't. It's not a hypothetical. Donald Trump issued illegal orders to the former Secretary of Defense, who rejected the orders, who did not follow them, who convinced Donald Trump otherwise in Mark Esper, when Donald Trump gassed and attacked peaceful protesters a block away from the White House so he could lumber across the square with his Bible, with a Bible, and hold it up as a prop in front of a church. Watch this moment. Again, the most important moment from yesterday's confirmation hearings with Pete Hegseth.
What I think I'm most concerned with is that no president has the right to use the uniformed military in a way that violates the U.S. Constitution and further taints the military as that apolitical institution that we all want, right? And our founders designed the system so that we had posse comitatus, that we weren't going to use active duty military inside the United States and make American citizens potentially scared of their own military. We went through our own experience with that with the British. As the Secretary of Defense, you will be the one man standing in the breach should President Trump give an illegal order, right? I'm not saying he will, but if he does, you are going to be the guy that he calls to implement this order. Do you agree that there are some orders that can be given by the Commander-in-Chief that would violate the U.S. Constitution?
Senator, thank you for your service. But I reject the premise that President Trump is going to be giving illegal orders.
No, I'm not saying he will, but do you believe there is such a thing as an illegal order that Joe Biden or any other president, Donald Trump, could give? Is there anything that a commander-in-chief could ask you to do with the uniformed military that would be in violation of the U.S. Constitution?
Senator, anybody of any party could give an order that is against the Constitution or against the law.
Right. Okay. So are you saying that you would stand in the breach and push back if you were given an illegal order?
I start by saying I reject the premise that President Trump will be giving any illegal orders at all.
This isn't a hypothetical, okay? Your predecessor in a Trump administration, Secretary Esper, was asked and did use uniformed military to clear unarmed protesters. He was given the order to potentially shoot at them. Helos flew low in Washington, D.C. as crowd control. He later apologized publicly for those actions. Was he right or wrong to apologize?
Senator, I was there on the ground.
And
I saw the
I understand,
helo
and I
myself.
respect that.
I've been there.
But you're
I
about
understand
to
the
be
level
the
of threat
Secretary of Defense.
that was involved in that moment. I
Was
also
he right
understand
to? So he was
legality and the
Sir,
Constitution.
was he right
and the
or
laws of what
wrong
you
to
have.
apologize?
I'm not going to put words in the mouth of Secretary Esper or
No,
anybody else.
he said them himself. You don't have to. What are you scared of? Did he do the right thing by apologizing?
I'm not scared of anything, Senator.
Then say
I'm
yes or no.
interested
You
in
can say
upholding
no.
the laws and the Constitution
Okay.
in any
So
particular
Donald
scenario.
Trump asked for the active duty 82nd Airborne to be deployed during that same time. Secretary Esper has written that he convinced him against that decision. If Donald Trump asked you to use the 82nd Airborne in law enforcement roles in Washington, D.C., would you also convince him otherwise?
I'm not going to get ahead of conversations I would have with the president. However, there are laws and processes inside our Constitution that would be followed.
President Trump said in November that he is willing to consider using the active duty military against the, quote, enemy within. Have you been personally involved in discussions of using the U.S. military active duty inside the United States?
Senator, I'm fine. I'm glad we finally got to the topic of border security equaling national security because it's been abdicated and ignored for the last 4 years.
That wasn't my question.
That should alarm you. That should shock you. You shouldn't be surprised by it, but it nonetheless is shocking that a man who seeks the office of Secretary of Defense won't commit to not violating the Constitution for his golden demigod, the cult leader, Donald Trump. That his fealty, his loyalty, his oath is to Donald Trump. He would commit treason against the United States in service to Donald Trump. And I don't see that there's any impediment to his confirmation. A few weeks ago, I said, I don't know. He's pretty radical. I think even for Republicans, he was kind of a Matt Gaetz type. But after yesterday and the rousing support from even veterans like Joni Ernst, it's alarming because he is a dangerous sycophant. He is a bootlicking lapdog for Donald Trump. He is not a leader. He is a follower. And that is not what you need as Secretary of Defense. Even Donald Trump's first Secretary of Defense, James Mattis, former Marine Corps general, he had what it took to buttress the military against the most diabolical whims of Donald Trump. Even Mark Esper, the defense executive, I think he worked for Boeing, even he had the temerity, had the boldness, had the leadership within him to tell Donald Trump no. Pete Hegseth is not such a character. He's not a leader. He's a follower. What do you think, though? I would throw this conversation to you. You can talk about it in the comments below. You can also call, leave me a voicemail, 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. We are in for some times. They are not given enough time for these confirmation hearings. Secretary of Defense should at least be 2 days to get to the heart of the most important matters that will impact both our troops, but also our national security posture on a global stage. And they're not doing it. They're acting as though they're hiring a manager for a McDonald's, not Secretary of Defense. Anyway, if you appreciate what I do, please subscribe. I'm almost to 900,000. I mean, within like 8,000. We could get it done today if we have a real good day. I would appreciate it very much. If you want to help support this work, help produce this work with me, click the join button below for $2 a month. You can do just that, help support the work. You can go to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast. It's a separate giving mechanism, separate support mechanism, just like channel memberships, except Patreon takes a lot less of a cut. Anyway, I appreciate you very much. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore just about everywhere. I'd love to see you there. I'll see you next time. Be genuine. Take care of one another.